Hey everybody.
Yeehaw.
Oh my goodness. Sorry, y'all. I was completely just lagging. We got some major technical issues, or I do. Good golly. But
Better not be Tony,
anyway,
Tony,
hey
Tony.
everybody. Is Tony to blame for that?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So I wanted to take a
How's
minute and
everybody
welcome.
doing?
Doing good. I'm going to welcome everybody tonight to The Price of Love Today. And I am Valerie. And if you've been watching the past few weeks, you know I've got Amy over here with me. But we have a couple of special guests tonight. And that would be Facedown Tragedy and Chef Jay with After the Shuffle.
Hey
So
everybody.
Everybody,
welcome, y'all. We're
welcome to
super
have us
happy to
here.
have you here. Wanted to just kind of, you all are doing some work that is very close to what we're doing, and that is, y'all have been doing it longer than we have, but that would be the scammers and going after the people that are scamming a lot of people. I mean, a lot of people. So what? First of all, I want to know, and I'm sure everybody might like to know a little bit about y'all and your show. So why don't we start there, and then we'll get into the scam part of it.
Okay, I can start that out. Basically, how After the Shuffle come about, the YouTube channel just started out has a pretty much a personal channel for me where I was doing guitar things, guitar instructional videos, and so forth. Jay and I started talking about, I guess, about the time the COVID thing started the first go around, and we're both family members and squad members of Trilogy Media, which they're one of the probably close, if not the number one scam baiting community on YouTube and the internet right now. Um, we were the type we wanted to give back. We weren't necessarily scam baiting at the time, but we felt it was very important to raise awareness out there. I know you have a personal issue with it. Jay does as well. So we talked for a very long time back and forth about how we could expand the channel and do something more with it. Chef Jay in the Trilogy Media, he come up. Uh, we come up with the name. He come up with a slogan back in that become a shirt back in Trilogy Media called "Eat, Sleep, and Shuffle." So we kind of just stuck with what can we center around shuffle, before the shuffle, after shuffle, welcome to the shuffle, and we settled on after the shuffle as a way for when Trilogy or other scam baiters are not streaming, they can come and shuffle with us. We call our people shufflers, and at least get some updates on news of what's going on, not necessarily in the scam community. We've got everything from scamming communities, scamming news to um, recovery, um, victim impact, just many different things. Although our goal is to keep people from getting scammed, and that's our main focus with the show.
Yeah, we're just
Yeah.
trying to keep people informed. We're trying to have a good, positive atmosphere and everything. Like the last show, we had paranormal and stuff, and people were really getting into that. We had a watch expert on our show. So we're just really to keep people informed. And the main thing is, just want to hear about how you guys are.
Yeah. Well, like Tony said, or and based on tragedy, that's Anthony, by the way. So
Anthony's fine. Everybody,
Anthony, yeah.
yeah,
I like
and
Anthony.
we're doing. We of course have a very personal reason, and I've been scam baiting little bits here and there. I mean, I would just mess around with people, always hitting the inbox. And so we really had a very personal thing that happened. Um, it had been happening over the course of about 5 months. And we found out about it in February. And it was bad. And this person took really big time advantage of somebody that's very near and dear to us.
Mm-hmm.
And so now it's personal. It really is personal because if that person would have known, and we thought we had talked to that, to this person, which I say this person because she doesn't want her identity shared. They're embarrassed. They're left not just broke because of what these people do to them. They are left heartbroken, guilty, ashamed when it really hits them that they've been scammed. I mean, it's like their world has been destroyed, and nobody should have to feel that way. And when we filed the police report, the officer flat told us, we knew that the money was probably not coming back. We knew that. But, when you hear them say, and this person's probably never going to be caught. Well, if you're not going to be able to catch them, how do you prevent it? And I told him right then, I would use her story as a voice. I would be the voice of her story to get the word out, because he admitted there's not enough education. And especially with our more, the vulnerable populations, there's not enough education. There's not enough awareness. And that's not going to continue as long as I'm here and I've got a breath in my body, and with channels like y'all.
That's what I want to say. They're in for a handful since we're all here.
Right.
And I have
There's a lot of us.
Yeah. And I talked about Trilogy Media. I think Amy was the first one that found them. After we didn't find that until after this happened. You don't often think, let's go to YouTube and look for scammer stuff. That's not your first thought, And Amy found Trilogy Media, and I immediately, I actually had reached out to them about this particular story. And I know they're so busy. So, but, I just kind of wanted to get that. And then we found Scammer Payback, which I love pierogi too. So I've I've talked about their shows. And now, as a matter of fact, the person that we know that was scammed, that's what she watches on YouTube, is Trilogy Media. And she's in her 80s. Trilogy Media and Scammer Payback. So if we could get some of the population, that needs this help the most, not to do anything else but to tune into those channels on YouTube, they would learn so much. So, but that's kind of what it is. I mean, and I know that, which I know Anthony through his wife, and she actually had messaged me, or I messaged her, I can't remember, or she had responded to one of my comments. And I had not had a chance to check out y'all's channel that much. So I knew he had a YouTube channel, but I didn't realize he was working with scammers, or on the scam bait and scammers, and exposing and listening to victims and things like that. Yeah. That's kind of the way that happened. And I mean, it takes a village, y'all. It really does. It's going to take a village.
Oh yeah, and then once someone's been scammed, it takes years to take that out of them.
Recovery,
not even counting the financial situation they put themselves in.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
And we actually started our first episode just winging it. If you watch it, you can tell. We started October 30th of last year, the day before Halloween.
Yeah.
And we talked about it, and we just finally said, okay, this is the day, let's do it, or we're never going to do it. Yeah. But romance scams is one of the first things that we actually addressed on the show. And we've addressed several of them, from ones happening on Facebook to dating apps like Tinder. We have, see, what else do we have? We have a lot of Instagram scams, of course. That's a big thing. And we've even done stuff like scams that happen maybe more locally in your area, like I mentioned to you about the paved driveway scams and so forth. It's not just something that you can expect to have on the internet or a mail or something like that. I mean, it's just everything.
Yeah, they're everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Let me take a real quick second to say hello. We've got some people saying hello in chat. Christopher Thompson, and I know you guys have brought some people with you, so I know the next name. Allison said hello, all. We had somebody else down here. Kim Badger said hello.
Kim.
Turner, hello. Allison, but of course, said, Amy's probably already put it up. Thanks for having
Yeah.
boys on. I'm showing it again.
Well, I wanted to touch on this. I popped it up a second ago, and she had said something a little bit ago. She was married to one, and so I clarified. I was like a scammer, and so then she popped that in there, and that just caught my attention.
Oh wow, we also had Kid Rock on our show. That's pretty
Yeah,
crazy.
we were one of the first that exposed the Kid Rock romance scam, which is still going on.
It's still going on. Yep.
But,
Part 2's coming up pretty soon.
Part 2, yeah, you got to fill us in with that. And I don't know about Jay, but I'll go ahead and say hi to everybody. I, for some reason, can't respond to the public chat. I don't know why. But I'll say hey to everybody, and I'm not ignoring you or anything.
Allison, Anthony, I love your wife. You know that, right? He said these scammers have no idea what they've unleashed. Val's the best advocate anyone could. Yeah, thank you, Allison. I do appreciate that. We have a history, and she's doing some great things too. I'm so proud of her. So,
oh yeah.
Now, did you all know each other before? Before you started your show, or how?
No, we met people. We met each through Trilogy.
Every panel member on our show is
part of a squad member.
Trilogy. Yeah, we met through Trilogy.
Well, it's fun.
It's a really
we still haven't met up in person, but hopefully pretty soon, maybe this summer or something.
That would be awesome. It's funny because I actually sit there and I deliver papers in the mornings, early mornings. And so instead of listening to the radio, I go to YouTube, and I've actually listened to After the Shuffle in the mornings, but I've also done Trilogy Media and Scammer Payback. So, like I said, I can't say enough good about the people that are out there putting their necks on the line to get the information, to expose. Trilogy Media is big about exposing the money mules that are involved. Yeah. And, I've shared information on the page about what money mules are. And in our case, there was one money mule that was definitely received money because that was money sent by the person we know. There was a second money mule that was going to be used because we scammed that scammer. And he actually sent us the name of a second money mule so they're using people all across the United States.
I think at the end of it, didn't we get like 3 money mules out of that situation?
Not from that particular one. Another one I got from a different scammer, a different scam.
And that's how they hang on to these people. They don't just scam them and it's over with and take their money. Sometimes they continue to hang on to them and make them and have them become money mules. Still with hanging over the hope over their head that they're going to get their money back if they do, play a part of the money mule or do what they ask them to. Yeah. And many times it's just costing them more money on top of it.
That's true. Or it's like a pyramid type scheme thing where they just steal money from another scammer victim and give that money to the other victim, and they just keep pushing it along. So they find somebody that has a lot of money, and then they just say, all right, that's the end of that scam. Let's start a new one.
Yeah. Now, you all have, in your panel, you have a scam baiter. That's very vocal about being a scam baiter. And, Tony. If you want to see, Tony, and even Cora does it too, right? Cora, she does her.
Yeah, Cora at her corner, yeah.
Cora is Tony. That's one of the characters. But she's great. She's I think she's been doing less than a year, but she's improved so much, and she's more of the type of scam baiter where she'll kind of just browbeat them a little bit, which I love. And the whole point is, it's just, it doesn't matter if you're big or small. You're wasting the same amount of time. You're wasting their time, and that's helping someone. If you can help someone, that could be an 8-hour process.
I actually was reading an article, I think it was yesterday, And there had been like this study or whatever that actually, they were chiming in on scam baiters. And they were like, I guess there was some sites that were really encouraging, way over the top things. And this hasn't been in the last couple of years. I don't think this was before that. And I don't even remember what site it was. Even a scammer has a story. I mean, I get that. But I'm sorry, when you're sitting there and you're confronting a scammer, and because the scammer that scammed the person that we know was under the impression that everybody in her family was rich.
Yeah.
That remark was made several times throughout the months. Your family, your friends, they have money. They're all rich. I've also had people, that have said, it's not hard to scam dumb Americans, and they've actually told me that, as I've been, emailing and messaging and all of that. Stealing is wrong. It's wrong. And I do want to hear their stories, but out of all the ones I've confronted, I have yet to have one, first of all, admit that they're a scammer or offer any kind of an apology or anything for it. So I have really strong views on that. I will waste their time every chance I get. I'm sorry, I will do it because it's saving somebody else.
Well, that's just the thing. The scammers automatically think because you're in America, they assume all Americans have the money to begin with. And it's not a big hit no matter what they take. As far as scammers changing and being apologetic, I've seen it with Trilogy and Scammer Payback, who's turned these people around, helped them out. Trilogy Media actually has, I don't know if you've heard of Johnny or Janny.
Yeah, Johnny.
Johnny in Trilogy.
He was a scammer, and he's on their staff now, and he's doing great work with them. He's helping bust everybody.
And that's good, but those are few and far between.
They are. You are correct about that.
I mean, I know that there's good people, and I would never stereotype somebody. They would actually come to me, when I'm confront, or and I try to confront them in the easiest possible way I can, except for one certain one, Anthony Scott Thompson. Your day's not done.
We covered him soon. Yeah, I understand.
His day's not.
We do appreciate you holding off. I know you're biting at the nail to get that so bad, but I appreciate you holding it off for after the shovels. We can all get him exposed because he's got it. He's definitely got it coming.
Yeah, and I will mention his name, and I take him with me into every scam bait I do. His name is mentioned somewhere in there, whether it's Anthony, whether it's Dr. Thompson, whether it's whatever. I mean, that is just one name that will always, I will never forget that name. Never. So, but yeah, and I appreciate y'all taking the time to go through all the stuff that I've sent you and really wanting to get in there and help expose. My mom would love nothing more. Oh, y'all didn't catch that, but anyway, than to see the face. The face of the person that scanned them. So it's all good. It's all good. She'll forgive me.
Yeah, but we appreciate. Yeah, that actually was 9 gigabytes worth of information that we've got going through right now, and then we've got our guy Wayne Fieldhouse going through. He's one of our moderators, and he's about done with it. We're about ready to move forward with it. We just want to make sure personal information, of course, for you, but. That's the thing. I'll have some of these scammers. Not that I make an excuse for them. It always sounds like I does, but I brought this up in our show before. There is situations where these scammers are going into a situation where they're thinking they're getting a legitimate job.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
And it's presented as a legitimate job, or nothing they're doing is wrong. Then they find out next thing you know, yes, they're in the middle of it for 3 months, and it's. A lot of times very hard for, again, not making excuses, very hard for them to get out. And like in Janny's situation, I mean, he almost lost his life doing what he's doing now with Trilogy and getting out.
Yeah.
And that's
and I think I do understand that, but I think I'm so close to this right now and so just angry that right now I'm not ready to cut anybody any slack until they say, look, I'm sorry. And I do understand life in some of these countries. There's not a lot. There's really not. And they're working for bosses just like we do. They're not sitting there. If you send a scammer $20,000, there's a good chance that scammer is not the one getting the $20,000. They might get a 5-10% of that, if that. So I kind of do understand it, but I think I've got to get a little bit more outside of it because I am so angry. They took, a lot, and it's not just the money. The money the money's gone, but it's the heartbreak. And I think romance scams are the most brutal form of scam because they're not just messing with money. They're messing with the emotion, and you can't fix that.
Right. So you really, in a way, you're scammed twice, basically, in a way, emotionally and financially, because these things they can go on for months to years, and like your situation, they're still coming back to you.
Yeah, and I had the guy that reached out to me after one of our lives and said he'd been being scammed by the same person for 5 years. 5 years. He couldn't even begin to tell me how much money he's lost. 5 years.
I hope that wasn't his wife.
Well, she said she went to get his marriage license. That's the way
kidding.
she ended up. That's the way she ended up getting a copy of his ID. I'm going to go get a marriage license for us. And
she's quote unquote supposedly changed her last name, but probably not true.
They're so convincing and they're so determined. They have nothing else to do, so they have the time to put into this. They may not get you today, but it's going to be the same amount of money when they get you down the road, because more than likely it's going to be they'll get you for even more money. But it's just
Can y'all see those comments at the bottom?
Yes.
Okay, just making sure. Kim had said, Kim had said that she had married someone, and she said she's even heard a scammer say, let me put it up there, that they think our government replaces the money people are scammed out of. It's not true.
I believe that's probably some of what they're told.
Yeah.
From, to make them not feel quite as bad when they're hired, when they think they're getting a regular job. It's insured or whatever. Maybe it could be what someone's being told going into it, so they don't, they quit or feel quite as bad. I don't know, but I've heard that too.
Yeah. And we don't know what someone is going through. We really don't, and I get it.
And I've wondered often is some of these people, they who's already lost money who are still in the scam. I mean, most of these are elderly people. They may be in a nursing home. They may not have family that comes to see them. And if they do have money, are they how many of these type of people are just doing it just for the interaction and for the company, and because it's all heartfelt and emotional and so forth, that they know they're being scammed over, but they continue to do it because it's the only socialization with the outside world really they've got. It's like in a nursing home or something.
Well, and a lot of them are in so deep that they think that that's the only chance they have of getting any of their money back. Because in romance scams, that's one of the big things is this is a successful doctor or whatever, or a general in the military, and they've got $3 odd million in a safety deposit box that they can't get to until they get back to the States. And can you send me the money? I'll pay it back to you. And, oh, I love you, and I'm going to come and I'm going to marry you, and we're going to be a family. But don't tell your family now. Don't tell them. We want it to be a surprise. And so they get in so deep that they don't know how to get out. And that is absolutely, it's just sad. Oh, man. And Allison, I know it's trauma and it does take time. And for victims, they're very traumatized and it does take time. And some of them, you know, are left with debts that there's no way they'll repay them in their lifetime. There's just not. Hello, Melissa. Hello. What is this one? We got somebody else that has a, oh, y'all seen that one already. Amy's clicking and so am I think. All right, here's a comment. Works in the nursing home, said she saved a resident from being scammed out of $8,000. So it's every day. Y'all got some people coming on soon, right? On your channel?
Yeah, this Sunday we have two scam victims. I think one of them is a romance scam. One of the people that we have coming on is really does some good work. She goes around to these nursing homes educating people in the nursing homes on these scams and how they work and so forth. So Jay and I actually talked about doing this, and it would be a good idea to do it. But she's actually been doing it for quite a while. And then we got a romance scam, I believe, coming on that both are victims of being scammed. So yeah, it'll be two people we'll have this week, and it'll be a good show.
Yeah, and I admire the victims that are stepping forward. You know, I shared something just last week or a week before, you know, because there was a story in our local newspaper here about the lady that was scammed out of 60-some thousand, I think, 80-some thousand.
Johnson, yeah.
Yeah, and, you know, there was actually people in the comments of that story victim shaming her.
Right.
And that is exactly the reason more people do not report what has happened to them, and that they do not speak out to help others, you know, to stop it from happening to others by sharing their story. But, you know, if you're going to victim shame somebody, they're not going to want to come out. And all I can say is shame on people for victim shaming.
Right. It just feeds into that shame. I've actually heard people that Pierogi is saved, as well as Trilogy Media, just talk about how they just feel so stupid.
Yeah.
And it's not that they're stupid. These people, they're not unintelligent people. It just happened. I mean, these people are ruthless. They're endless. All the victims are to them is just basically it's a lead that they're buying, whether it's from emails or other fraudulent things on the internet. You're just a lead to them, and they're just going to keep on on you until you finally just quit answering the phone, or they very rarely give up.
Yeah. Just sad. What do you think, Jay? You got any thoughts?
I think it's kind of like a form of like it's kind of like psychological warfare a little bit. They're here to mess with your feelings and stuff and take your money and then make fun of you for it.
Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, I've actually sat there, and one thing that's also addressed, you know, by Trilogy Media, by Pierogi on Scammer Payback, and all of those is, you know, the way that victims are spoken to. And when you hear Pierogi go through it with somebody on the phone, you know, and the people are getting angry, the scammers are getting angry with them, or they're getting frustrated, or they're cussing them, you know, in Hindi or whatever. You know, I've actually seen that firsthand through the text messages and with the person that we know. You know, I've heard that, or I've seen it firsthand. And I work with domestic violence clients, or I have in the past, and you know, we do a live on Thursday nights through their page to address the issues of domestic violence. And with that, you see so much of that in these relationships, these romance scams. They are definitely, they have the emotional and the verbal abuse going on in there. There's gaslighting, there's love bombing, there's all of that stuff. So, you know, these relationships are not healthy, and people that you would think would never all for those relationships, if not for anything other than that. For some reason, they're still sucked in, and the reason is they're getting something that they're missing through that conversation. I mean, at least in the case, that we have. So
Yeah, that's why that's what I was saying earlier about they know that they're being taken for a ride, but they still hang on.
yeah.
And it's
Yeah, and Trilogy, Allison says Trilogy helped us stay sane through the pandemic. So I love Trilogy. I'm sorry, I really do. I love them. I've not even scraped the surface of their videos. I'm not really, but I love them and I love Brody too, and I really admire the work that they're doing. So
most definitely.
yeah. So you all have covered stories in the past. You got the 2 victims coming up this coming Sunday.
So at 3 Eastern.
3 o'clock. And so I can't wait to hear that one. They have their YouTube channel. If you've not checked out the bottom of the screen, Amy is flashing it up. It's also in the description on the Facebook and wherever else.
Amy's certainly flashing it up there. This is the first time I've changed it in about 10 minutes.
Amy, oh no.
Nice job.
Come on. She's like sleeping on the job over there.
Yeah, I was already sleeping on the job. Oh, wait, I shouldn't say that.
Now, Dave, Tony said that you had a personal issue with scammers as well.
Me?
Is that
The Bitcoin.
Oh.
The Bitcoin.
Oh, that's not really scam. That's not really scammers. That was kind of like a pyramid scheme. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was like a pyramid scheme type thing going on. But yeah,
I actually had a scammer message me last night.
Oh wow!
They are not there. I told him point blank. I said I don't have time or the energy because for the past week I've literally been talking to. We exposed one that was actually trying to turn 2 people in this area into money mules. When it was one scammer, I was able to show those victims who this person, not physically who he was, but that it was absolutely 100% scam. One of them had lost over $30,000 to this particular scammer. So, and I know she wouldn't mind me saying, I'm not going to say who it is, but anyway, so I was not in the mood last night. I really was not. I was trying to cook dinner. And he messaged, and I thought, you know what? I'm just going to point blank tell him, dude, if you keep talking to me, I sent him my last post on my page that had said about the scams and about all of this and how we had to end it and raise awareness and everything. He still tried to run the scam on me and me telling him I'm going to show everything you're saying to me. And then he gaslighted me, telling me, oh, you're crazy. You're crazy. I'm like, no, you're the one talking to me. You're crazy. So that will be on a future episode. So
oh, that's a good one.
Next week. Oh, go ahead.
You've experienced this about sometimes, even though they've already been scammed, it's still so hard to convince them that these people are scammers.
Yep. Absolutely. It took tooth and nail to convince the person that we're close with for them to realize that it was a scam.
Yeah. It did, and it's almost like they brainwashed them to the point you don't trust your family. You don't talk to you only talk to me. That's the message that the scammer really wants to get in. You only trust me. And it got to the point that even though this person had known me my whole life, and I had never lied to this person, they didn't believe me when I'm telling them this is what's going on. When I'm on the phone with the scammer and, did not believe one word. So it's like they're so brainwashed.
I mean, it's not even that, but I mean, the person said that they're from Kansas, but that they get on the phone and they're sitting here with the big, strong, thick, What, you know what I
The
can't think of the word.
strong, not an American accent. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
And yes.
Yeah.
That brings something I was wanting to ask you, because you're talking about brainwashing, and that's kind of in a way what they do, because they want to isolate these people so much from their family.
Mhm.
I wanted to ask you, in your all situation, since you were close with the victim, did you notice any type of that isolation going on when this was happening?
Yeah.
We did, but here's
But
the
you don't know
thing.
what it is, though. I mean, it's
Well,
just,
I saw a part, and then Amy might have seen a part, and then family in North Carolina saw stuff, and family in parts of Tennessee saw stuff, but none of us were communicating. We were each seeing different things. And if we would have been more communicating about it, we could have put the puzzle together, maybe.
Maybe a lot quicker.
Yeah, and there was a lot, and I'm gonna tell you some of the main things that you want to look for, especially if you've got an elderly person. And one thing I can say is, with this particular person, her confidence seemed to go up because she was taking selfies and putting them on Facebook, but there were subtle changes in her appearance, and she was they're targeting people that may have been widowed, for years. Their kids are grown, their grandchildren are grown, they don't have as much of that companionship and they're saying the things. We have to remember that just because somebody is elderly does not mean they're okay with being alone. And they still want what somebody that's younger. They want to be loved. They want that companionship. I don't think any of them ever think that they're going to live to be a certain age and end up spending the rest of those years by themselves. And so this particular scammer was saying all the things that this person, even when she was married before her husband passed away, was not saying to her. There was not a lot of romance. There was not, and that's a romance scam. There was not a lot of compliments and all of that. And the scammer knew. They knew. And it's because of these subtle questions they ask them to start with. They start because they all go by a script. You can throw them off their script, but it is a script. And you kind of see it the more time you do it.
But the thing with the script is there for the first little bit of talking to them, they will hound on that script, that they will not let up off of it. But then finally, I guess something clicks in their little pea brains, and they're like, "Oh, okay, they're feeding me turds."
But yeah, I mean, we did see stuff, Anthony. But we hadn't pieced the puzzle together. I mean, if you don't communicate with people, and that's one thing, if you have loved ones that are elderly or, that live alone, and you start seeing, even if it's small changes in behaviors, check on them.
I mean, be checking on them anyways. So
Yeah, I was about
especially
to say that.
if
Yeah,
they're saying
exactly.
that
It's a
they're
fact.
lonely and that they're missing people, such like that, definitely check on them. If they're always by themselves, they're not really getting out anywhere. Check on them. Check on them.
Yeah.
definitely.
And it's just
Good
so
advice.
it's so hard to convince them. I think it was like the video before last that Trilogy had put out, where they were out of town and they saved a victim and gave her money back. Up to the point where they were physically handing her the money, she was still saying, "No, these are not scammers. This is my Discover card."
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, it's hard.
It is. And like I said, especially when you get into the romance scams, because it was literally, they feel, even when you tell them this is a scam, no, that's my boyfriend. He's coming to marry me. He is, he's bringing me my money. He's going to buy me a new house. He's going to buy me a new car. he wants to meet y'all. Y'all are like his kids. You all are, or you're like his grandkids, or you're like, and just to sit there and hear that, and how am I going to convince this person? And in convincing this person, I'm going to be breaking their heart.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm having to tell this person is not who you thought he was.
Yeah, the person that you're sitting here sharing all of your emotions and all of your feelings with, they're not real. Like they're real, but that they're not real.
Yeah, they're just playing a play.
Yeah.
Just so they can get your emotions unchecked, so they can get your money.
Yeah, and you're
pretty much all it is.
Secrets, I mean, and it really is sad. It's just sad. And I think.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Sorry. No, I just want to say that be careful what you do put on your social medias and your Facebooks and your Instagram, because this is just feeding them information that they're going to use within the scam, that they're going to use against you, that they know you, or they got this in common with you, etc.
And not only that, but like even the questions that they come out and they ask, like what are your interests, everything. Like I think Mom made a post about it, whenever a while back, but about what they're asking for and what to be wary of.
Yeah.
Trying to get that personal information.
Well, anything, and I feel like we shouldn't have to say it, but I end up saying it just about every show. If anybody asks you for a copy of your identification, don't send it. If anybody asks you, and I've ran into this over the past week, they not only had the ID, they had the social security number, the credit card numbers, the bank account numbers. Because the person shared it with them. And this was a blessing scam. Have y'all heard the blessings scam? You'll get blessings if you do this, that, and the other. Yeah. First thing they ask for is the ID. Send me your ID now. Send me your ID now. Don't do it. If you have been a victim of a scam, and I'm going to tell you because we went through this, if that ID is taken, if they have that copy of that ID, go to the DMV, tell them they flag that number, they reissue you an ID with a different number, because that has now set you up for identity theft. Because they have that information, they can use it to even open Facebook accounts, if you have to send ID to verify on some of those. So, kind of makes you wonder, is this the way that they're sitting there opening up numerous Facebook pages? Because the minute you accept you start talking to a scammer, they'll keep you a very short amount of time on Facebook before they're wanting you to go to Google Hangouts or to WhatsApp or just through text messages. Then they will feed you the line of crap about my Facebook profile got hacked, and that's the reason I had to shut it down. So, your first sign is anybody that can't talk to you through Facebook, why do you need to talk to them? They're wanting to get you because they know the longer they're on Facebook, the more likely that account will be flagged.
And that's usually the first step, is moving over to another platform where it's not as monitored, like just a basic messenger app or something like that. It's harder to report them. They really don't pay that much attention to it. Facebook or Instagram more than likely is going to get eventually flagged. I flagged stuff before, and it's been taken care of within a day.
Yeah. Well, and one thing I will also encourage is people don't ever send compromising photos of yourself, because that is another form, of the scamming. Is they're going to blackmail you, and they're going, and that happens. So don't. It's just, you don't realize how many things are out there, and you really start. But I got to thinking, if everybody would take, a couple of hours and just kind of drag these people along anytime they get those messages, do you know how much time would be wasted? even if it's just an hour, if it's just, it would
They
literally.
they won't message somebody my age. I have too much time on my hands.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like you said, even if it's just an hour, imagine how many phone calls these places get within an hour that could be potential victims.
Well, and I actually thought of something yesterday. It
There's a
does
lot
seem
of
to
people
be.
out there.
Mhm. It does seem to be our elderly or our vulnerable, and I'm going to say with elderly. I'm coming up on 50, and I'm getting those. I don't count myself as elderly, but I'm getting up there. But I would say 50 and up, 60 especially and up. If there's a disability, if there's anything like that, that kind of makes them even more of a target. Or have you listed retired or disabled on your Facebook profile? I really think. But I got to thinking a lot of people, like in our case, it was like I said, she was in her 80s.
Mm-hmm.
I think our younger generations are very aware of the scammers now. So I think the way I'm choosing to look at it is right now, things are not getting better for the ones that haven't been as exposed to what the scams are and what they look like. But eventually, as our younger generation starts getting older, what chances are these scammers going to have at that point? Because people are going to be aware because of channels like y'all's and Trilogy Media and, all of the others, Scam Payback and all these other channels. People are going to be more educated. So it might take time, but by gosh, what we're doing is making a difference. It just may
Yeah,
not be.
it's
I would.
definitely a start. I want to say that it's a really big start what we're doing. But I think we mentioned this on our show like a couple weeks ago or something. There's always going to be new scams with technology coming out. They're always going to find a way. They're just like they're little rats. They'll just find their little way through that little hole, and they'll try to get in there and get all your cheese.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to get better. It will,
I,
but
Go ahead.
I mean, one thing that I will say, and I'm gonna go back and touch on the younger generation. The younger generation, um, they really get hit with like the Amazon refund scams and
Student loan.
stuff like student loans, extended. Everybody knows the extended car warranty one, but I mean, I get those 2, 3, 4 times a day.
yeah. Well, you don't have to start baiting them. I can't do this by myself.
We're thinking about doing that ourselves. We're thinking about expanding our operation and doing something like that.
You had said
We had that when
y'all.
Tony was on our show, and it was a big hit. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
we'll
I
figure it
know
out. But
Tony didn't have much luck the other day. I was watching that.
No, with the
No.
Cosby. But
Yeah.
if you've watched some of her stuff, she's great.
Yeah,
She
she is. She's hilarious.
Mhm.
You don't have to be mean to a scammer to bait them. You just waste their time. And I'm telling you, the one that I actually did, and this is when we did a video on it, and that was William, the dumbest scammer I've ever known. Somebody had mentioned over here a few minutes ago that scammers typically don't pay attention to what you say anyway, and it really is true. Because in this particular, when I was when I was talking to this guy, I had him convinced that I was a blind and a deaf stripper that
Who
crocheted my
crocheted her
own
own
G-strings.
G-strings.
And,
That's good.
and then you sell them on eBay. What? Oh man, we gotta have her on the show coming up, man. We gotta
Etsy,
talk
it's
about
on
this.
Etsy.
We gotta talk about this.
I have all my screenshots from this one too, but I told him point blank. I mean, he was like, "Are you married?" I said, "No, I took my husband back in the woods, took him way back in there, and just left him. And this the dummy didn't find his way home yet." And I told him I'd kicked my kids out when they were 12 because they were old enough to stay or to take care of themselves at that point. I mean, I was making up some of the most ridiculous, and I got a money mule out of this guy.
You know what? It's what it is. Is they don't listen to what you're saying. They hear for what they listen to what they need to know.
Yeah.
And he stayed on his script for pretty much the entire conversation until like mom started getting tired of him,
I
and then he
did.
like snapped out of it. He was like, what was it? How can you be blind a
Blind and
blind
deaf and be a
dancer?
stripper, but this was already
Yeah.
he gave me the manual.
Like this was like 2 days after like the conversation started.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and he was like, "How are you going to drive to the bank?" Well, I've got a driver for that. I mean, I got all
got
this
Tesla.
money. Yeah, I mean, it was just some of the stuff that you can tell them because they're not paying attention to what you say. They're so focused on, and it could be maybe he was a new scammer, that was just so focused on that script that he was not coming off of it. But I had fun with him. And funny thing is, the person that was scammed that we know, I would actually tell her what I was telling this, and that's been therapy for her, I think, is she's been able to say, I mean, she just dies laughing at this point. Yeah, she
And
still
she was
feels
helping
shame.
come up with some of the
Yeah,
responses
she
to
was.
give him.
So
That's
it's
awesome.
truly a family affair over here, But and we'll talk more about that because whenever we started to, whenever we figured out what was going on, it was me with some red flags waving. I got in touch with Amy. Amy went down and found out some stuff. Messaged my son Andrew. He was able to track down the stolen pictures that were used. I mean,
Wow.
so it was just everybody jumping in. So, I mean, I am so happy that y'all decided to come on here tonight because I really have enjoyed talking to y'all. And I really think that, if we can do more things like this to where you bring everybody together, the community will continue to grow. And I think with us, our primary goal, yeah, I mean, scam baiting is great, to waste their time, but you can also get a lot of valuable information. And that is one of the main priorities of our channel is to be able to take that information and to put it out there so people can see a scam before they're in the scam. And that way they know what to look for because it's a whole lot easier to stop it before it happens than it is to fix it and to stop it, or to stop it and fix it afterwards.
And
Definitely.
And you guys are going to do well. We'll keep. I mean, what we're going to be doing when you guys come on with us is this is such a long, strung out thing. There's going to be update after update and the big show and.
Oh man!
And it's going to be
Don't ask for a G-string; you'll be good.
Right. Free shipping though.
I'm gonna start doing,
when I'm doing when you order 5.
Yeah, when I start doing my lives, I'm gonna have my yarn and my crochet hooks out here, and that's what I'm gonna do. It's crochet and G-strings, and that's gonna be my wrap.
You should be doing one while you're on the live, yeah.
Yeah, they're rocking and crocheting.
That's all.
Knitting. My husband said knitting.
But you guys, I mean, I've watched everything
that's great.
so far you've got on the YouTube, and it's very knowledgeable stuff. You guys, I was impressed about how much stuff, because I mean, people just they don't keep up with it. You guys have a lot of knowledge, and and it's good information you're giving out, and that's what it's all about. If you have the ability, the first step is to waste their time when you're with the scam bait. But yeah, if you have the ability to use your virtual machines and find out the more information and report them, which anybody can report them.
And a lot of my knowledge came from previously working in a fraud department for a bank, and I currently still work in a bank, and it's still an everyday occurrence that I get people calling it about being scammed.
Yeah.
But yeah, wasting their time is a good thing. If you don't want to get involved in it though, and you don't want to waste their time, email the scam to me. Give me some information. Give me the email they contacted you from, because I promise you, they don't have to contact me for me to get to them. I mean, I can still go in there and they'll still believe what you say to them. Oh yeah, you told me to message you over here. They haven't, but they don't know because they're messaging so many people.
Yeah, right.
there's ways to get in. I mean, if anybody goes and checks their spam folder right now, you're going to have at least one, but
I
more than
proved that
likely
last week.
more than, you know,
I
you
proved
will
that last
have,
week.
yeah, you will have more than that sitting there. So send them to me. I'll do it. You know, I will absolutely sit there because I get information that I can then pass on to everybody else. And that's, you know, next week we're going to do the blessing scam. And I'm going to have all of the messages and all of that. And I did find out that this particular scammer, he tried to tell me he was from Kenya. But then he started speaking to me in a language that I didn't know. And Google is your friend. And when I Googled it, it was exactly where I told him he was from when I told him, and that was Nigeria. So the blessing scam, and I've seen so far with the romance scammers that I've seen, primarily those are coming from that part of the air. I mean, that's what I'm finding so far. Not saying that that's the only place, but so far that's what we're finding. So.
Yeah, man.
And if you, other than the big three, Gmail, Outlook, and Yahoo, but on some of these, a lot of these scammers use like
AOL.
AOL123.com, some kind of overseas
Hotmail.
Hotmail or whatever they call it nowadays.
Oh,
man.
If you can,
That's a good one, Anthony. That's a good one.
if you can check, if you know how to check the headers, if you just skim down a little bit, there'll be a received and an IP address. If you take that IP address, go to whois.com, smack it in there. It'll tell you what country it's from, who their ISP provider is, and if they don't have it protected, it would actually give you whatever contact information, name and phone number they put in when they opened their provider account. But most of the time, like I said, with the big three emails, it's coming from their server, so it's not going to give you any information. But it's something to try if you get like an oddball email or something like that with a weird address.
Great advice. I will also tell everybody, please, you know, somebody that say they tell you they're working for the government, they're not going to message you on Facebook. The government is not going to message you on Facebook. They're not going to be emailing you from a Gmail account. If you're ever asked to email United Nations, the United Nations will not have a Gmail account. I promise you that. So
if the government's going to contact you, if the Social Security Administration's going to contact you, they're going to pick up the phone. They're going to call you. The Social Security office is going to send you a letter.
Yeah,
I
telling
mean,
you to call them.
Yeah. The Social Security office just does not reach out to you by phone or by email.
And they're not going to ask you for your Social Security number. I mean, these are the people who assigned you your Social Security number. There's no reason for somebody stating their Social Security office administrator to ask you for that number. No reason at all.
No. Allison, you send me your size and I will crochet you a costume, my dear.
Oh gosh, I'm in trouble.
There you go. Let me know what colors you want.
Next episode, we have Anthony on our show as Crochet Man.
Oh man,
it's gonna be crazy. He's gonna have holes everywhere.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. But anyway, so you all keep doing everything that you're doing.
Yes, too.
You know,
you guys do for sure.
I'm definitely looking forward to working with y'all on Anthony Scott Thompson. I want to make sure, because I do know that he has stalked my Facebook page in the past. He sent me pictures of myself from my Facebook page, and has, you know, threatened to tell the FBI on me and Interpol because of the accusations I make against him. So Anthony Scott Thompson,
that's going to be a good one.
Victim, right? Here waiting for that, but I do know he stalks. And we also know that last time when Amy pulled up, you know, we might not get a whole lot of views, but we can pull up the analytics. You know, I think we did have somebody from the area of Nigeria that had popped in on our live.
It was India.
Oh, we had India, but we also, I thought, had Nigeria.
I think the other one was Yemen.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
man.
there you go.
You know.
So, you know.
Which is where Anthony conveniently said that he was from.
So,
Oh, he's from Yaman.
yeah.
Not Yemen.
Yeah.
Yaman.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
I've
Right
actually
near the
talked to
beach.
him several times, and one time I had him pretty much saying, "Are you not tired yet?" You could tell he was so ready for bed, and I was like, "No, I'm absolutely not tired. Let's go. Let's go. I ain't got nothing but time."
Keep him up all night.
I promised this man when I found
I
out
message
what
you in
he
a couple
did.
hours.
Yeah, and I did. Every 2 minutes for the first 2 or 3 days. Every 2 minutes, I was messaging, calling.
And if it wasn't her, it was me.
Or some members of my family. But anyway, I did tell him though. I made him the promise, and and that was that I would make his life a living hell. And that may not necessarily just be his life. That may be the life of anybody else that's trying to steal right now, for whatever reason. And when I say that, it's let me waste your time and let me educate people on what to look for,
Yep.
So I'm a little bit spiteful. What can I say, y'all? I really am.
No, you're not spiteful. You're petty.
No, I'm not petty. I ain't petty. This definitely needs to be done. So will it ever accomplish anything? I want to see his face. That is my number one goal, and I just have to believe that, one day that will happen. And I want him to see my face. Because I actually sent him videos. I mean, I was like, I'm right here showing you who I am. Let's see you. So.
Yeah. Well,
but anyway.
We'll do it again. I mean, there's strength in numbers. Me and Jay started out with just the two of us, not really sure if we wanted to do it, and you guys are doing the exact same thing, and you're killing it with the information.
That's all any of us want, is to try to make things better, and that's all we can hope for is, if we just make it a little bit better every day. And I'm glad that you have victims comfortable enough to come forward and talk to y'all. Because, and again, to those victims, and I'm going to say survivors now because that's what they are, we got to get them out of that victim mindset now and into the survivor mindset. And that is, I am so proud of them for stepping forward and for putting themselves out there. And that's one thing I really want the Price of Love today to be, is a safe place that victims can come forward and say, this is what's happened to me, and not feel any form of victim shaming. So thank you all for taking the time and doing that with these victims.
Appreciate it.
Giving them that time. And I can't wait to come on there and kind of share Anthony Scott Thompson with y'all and with everybody else, because, he definitely has taught me a lot. And, through him, through that, then hopefully we will be able to help everybody else.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
One person at a time.
Yeah, that's all we can do. Y'all got any final thoughts?
Is this like Jerry Springer or something?
Yes, Jerry Springer.
Final thought.
I don't have a chair to throw or nothing.
Yeah, you do.
Jerry.
We do appreciate it. We appreciate you having us on. It was an honor, and you guys, keep doing it too. I mean, that's all both of us can do, is keep trying and spreading. People choose to pay attention, then we've done something.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah. And I do think that, people are paying attention. I mean, the page may not be getting shared as much. The page may only be growing 1 or 2 people at a time, but that's 1 or 2 people. And, it will grow, and it will continue to grow, because unfortunately there is going to be more and more and more victims, because, the pandemic did really, push things a lot with that. It's still, there's victims out there, and as long as there's potential victims, there's going to be scammers. And, we just keep fighting the good fight. That's all we can do.
That's it.
So, I appreciate y'all. Next time maybe you'll have to bring your whole crew. That would be kind of fun too.
Be great.
That'd be awesome.
We're definitely getting
y'all
worked
get
up
with
and
us.
get your story on soon. I'm working on it really hard.
That's
I
fine.
promise.
That's fine.
We're all
And
busy over here. We just keep
Yeah.
shuffling, man. It's
Yeah,
awesome.
just keep shuffling.
I'm shuffling.
Anthony Scott Thompson is not going anywhere. Trust me. I mean, that story
Nope, he'll
will
be
always be
exposed.
there.
We'll get him.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
We'll
Well,
get
his
'em.
story.
We'll
that story
extend it
will-
beyond. We'll extend it beyond just us four and beyond
Yep.
our team. We'll extend it beyond. We
Yep.
know people. So
Well,
Definitely.
you know, it's
appreciate it.
personal. So, all
Yep.
right, if y'all will hang out, I'm gonna let Amy hit our outro video, and
All right.
there's a little
Okay.
something in there,
Let's
and
see this.
then we'll. All right, everybody, we'll see you all next Tuesday at
Bye,
7.
everybody.
Lots of blessings,
Appreciate
fam.
Bye,
Don't
everybody. Good
forget,
evening.
after the shuffle, YouTube. Y'all do YouTube and Facebook, right? Saturday
Yes.
or on Sundays at 3:00.
Yes.
So, all right. Go ahead, Amy. Take us on out.
Have a good night, guys.
Bye, Amy. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.